College football fans, black and gold fans, welcome in or welcome back to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, where we examine, discuss, honor, and celebrate all things college football across the entire college football landscape of this great nation, anywhere and everywhere from north to south, east to west, and everywhere in between. The channel to where you don't have to support the black and gold squad of the Iowa Hawkeyes. You're forgiven because, after all, nobody's perfect, but a gathering spot, a safe haven, safe zone, holy ground for all college football fanatics alike, whether you're a Big Ten person, SEC, ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, whoever you root for. You are more than welcome here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Welcome back, guys. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks, and this is my Week 2 review episode, and wow, what a Week 2 it was. Depending on who your team of fandom is, you could find yourself dancing in the street, celebrating, or being heartbroken, and just earth-shaking, earth-quaking, earth-rattling news and some overall scores and results absolutely will shake up this year's college football playoff landscape early, even here in Week 2. We'll definitely get to that here soon later on in this episode. Until I say anything more, please, I do thank all of you for your continued support, your time, your attention here for the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, but we need more. So please subscribe, tell your fellow college football fanatics, fans, friends, family members to check me out here on the channel. Please like, rate, share. Let me know what you think each and every episode, guys. If this is your first time with me, I always welcome and ask for any sort of comments and any sort of participation from you. It is absolutely wanted because you, the college football fan, is who drives these episodes. So please get involved. Let your voice be heard. Comment. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I state? Disagree? Did I forget something? Do you want to add something additionally to my commentary? Or, hey, feel free to give me a new idea. I am open to hear from any one of you college football fans, and it's such a pleasure for me to be here with you each and every week. Now that the season is fully underway, I will be here twice a week with you, sharing my love for everything college football for you and with you each and every week. So today, this is what's on tap for my Week 2 review episode. I've got 5 quick segments for you. Hopefully going to wrap this up in 45 minutes or under. I'm going to start off with buy or sell. I'm going to attempt to play the college football stock market the best I can. That'll then be followed by the good, the bad, and the ugly from Week 2. Then I will proceed into my 3 cheers segment, things that definitely I want to bring your attention to from Week 3, some accomplishments that maybe have gone a little unnoticed, maybe fell between the cracks, and then I will unveil to you my power rankings post Week 2, my top 10 plus 2, kind of my 2 alternates or honorable mentions. Each and every week during my review episode, I will share with you my updated top 10 plus 2 as far as who I think are the best teams in the nation from what I've seen. And then you definitely want to stick around. My last segment, very quick, that'll be the first time I'm ever doing this segment. I'm going to see how it goes over with you. So please, once again, like, share, subscribe, comment, get involved. I'm going to try to do Mr. Insignificant. Kind of plays along with the NFL draft. The very last person taken, the final draft pick, is considered, and they are called Mr. Insignificant. So I'm going to share that with you, who I believe Mr. Insignificant was in week 2, a cat who you probably have never heard of, maybe will never hear of ever again, unless they are on the team that you follow, as far as what they did, led, or at least was the major reason or propelled their team to a victory during week 2. So definitely don't go anywhere, guys. So stick around. Let's go ahead and get it started, shall we? So my first segment today, as I mentioned, will be buy or sell. I will do the best I can to play the college football stock market. And how this segment works, I'm going to provide you 5 hot takes, 5 statements, and then I will say at the end whether I either buy or sell that statement, and will give you my explanation why. All I need to do is wait for the opening bell. It should be coming anytime. And
you hear a lot of people talk about
damn stupid, just ridiculous. You know, YouTube, I get it set up, and this is what happens, guys. If you're with me for the first time, I don't do any sort of retakes or, you know, edits. I don't do all that. I don't do dress rehearsals, because doing all that's a job. This is a hobby for me, all right? So you won't see me doing anything like that. I just simply click, record, download, and send it, all right? So we'll try this here in a little bit, but I just need to wait for the opening bell of the stock market. Let's see where it's at. Let's see, hold on 1 second. It should be coming. Where is that opening bell so I can get this segment going? And here, there it is. There's the opening bell for buy or sell. Let's go ahead and get to the first hot take of 5. All right, so my first hot take for buy or sell is this. The SEC is still the top conference in college football. I absolutely am going to sell that statement. I am getting rid of that because that is false. If you've been paying attention, the SEC has really struggled and stumbled a little bit out of the gate. Yes, Georgia is the number 1 team, 2-time defending champions. They deserve much respect and uber love for that accomplishment. They are a member of the SEC conference, but other than that, they have really struggled, all right? And we saw it again during week 2, that big rumble, not in the jungle, but that big matchup and rumble down in Tuscaloosa between number 11 Texas and number 3 Alabama. Texas came out on top against Alabama. So when you look at the 3 heavyweights from the better and stronger division of the SEC, all 3 of them have lost. LSU lost opening week to Florida State. Alabama lost over the weekend to Texas. Texas A&M also lost during week 2 at Miami, and I'm definitely going to talk more about some of these games here later in the episode. And when you look at the other division, the SEC East, South Carolina lost to North Carolina week 1. Vanderbilt fell during week 2. Florida lost opening week at Utah. Missouri, the local team, since, hey, I was born and raised in Northwest Illinois, but I currently live in the Show Me state of Missouri. Missouri beat the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders by only 4 points on Saturday at home in nearby Columbia. So the SEC is really struggling. Ole Miss took care of business against Tulane, but Mississippi State, another school in the West Division, beat Arizona in overtime. So the SEC is not where it's at. Now, by season's end, they still could find themselves reigning supreme, but as of right now, they are not the best conference. That's just what it is. Let me know what you think about that hot take. Next take is dealing with conferences. The Pac-12 is the best conference currently in college football. That is a big time buy. Here's why. Late in week 2, at one point the Pac-12, which this is their swan song, and it makes total sense that this is happening in their last year of existence because of conference realignment. At one point late during week 2, the Pac-12 was 18-0, undefeated, had not lost. Now, later in week 2, they did have 2 losses. Stanford lost, but that was to fellow Pac-12 member USC. And I did just mention that Mississippi State defeated Arizona in Starkville, Mississippi in overtime. All right? And to further back that up, I mean, when you look, if you don't want to take my advice on that record, that also as of now via yesterday's, or I should say Sunday's, updated AP rankings, the Pac-12 has 8 teams currently ranked in the top 25. And that's all I got to say about that. Like Forrest Gump once said, I don't believe all 8 of them are going to finish the season ranked, but as of right now, they have the most teams in the rankings, and deservedly so. All right? My next hot take is also dealing with conferences. The lack of depth and potential competition within the ACC conference will cost Florida State a college football playoff appearance. I'm going to sell that for now, all right? I might have to recircle back to this later, but here's the thing with the ACC. Florida State has one of the 2 best victories so far early in this season of college football against LSU at a neutral site in Orlando, Florida. They did defeat LSU, who was ranked number 5, I believe, at the time. But the thing is, the ACC definitely looks to be a little bit down, all right? Now, when you also couple that with LSU, and so far, like I said, we've seen the heavyweights from the SEC struggle. So let's say LSU loses 2 or 3 more games. It definitely takes a little bit away from the bravado and strength of schedule of that victory. It definitely will, all right? And when you also look at within the ACC conference, they've had an excellent start to the season. They are probably right now just a little bit behind the Pac-12 if I had to rank the conferences right now, 1 through 5. But we're talking about this with Clemson not even being in the conversation, being a no factor. Losing opening week at Duke, being dominated by a Duke Blue Devils team. Once again, I do my own stunts here in the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. But they were down at one point 14-7 over the weekend to, Charleston State, Charleston Southern, an FCS squad? Might as well be just call them the Sisters of Mercy University, okay? So that is going to take away from the strength of schedule potentially of Florida State. They can, the best thing that Florida State and its fans should want right now is hopefully the teams that have played pretty well so far continue to rise up the rankings. I'm talking North Carolina, Miami, Duke. They definitely want those teams to keep performing well, so at the end of the season, they can use that strength of schedule in their favor. All right, so I'm going to sell that for now. My 4th hot take for this week's buy or sell is the Coach Prime experiment, all right, is now officially a success at Colorado. Guys, I'm going to buy this one. And if you've been watching my previous episodes, I have not bought in completely to the Coach Deion Sanders experiment there in Boulder, Colorado, what we're seeing happen. And I'm going to go ahead and give credit where credit is due, all right? Because I make mistakes. I'm only human. So I will say that it is a success, all right? But I am not fully buying into this, all right? So I say that it's a success merely from the fact that this is a team that won 1 game last year, and they're already out to a 2-0 start. They defeated national title runner-up TCU in week 1, absolutely dismantled and embarrassed a really bad Nebraska squad over the weekend there in Boulder. But that first half was really close. I give it to Nebraska. Their defense played very inspired, but offensively, they're offensive. They just are. So they will absolutely, I think, eclipse the 3.5 win total that Vegas gave them, which I've been telling you past episodes. Hopefully you bet the under on that, but I think they will get to 4 or 5 wins. But in the long haul, when you look at the season, they will not be a factor for the Pac-12 title. They will not be able to compete and beat the majority of the Pac-12 heavyweights. They will not. Potentially Stanford, the Arizona schools. I could see them winning those games. Yes, Cal, but the upper echelon of the Pac-12, which is loaded, they're not going to win those games. But it is a success. But let's not put the wagon before the horse, guys, okay? Or in this case, the wagon ahead of the buffalo. Now, my fifth hot take, and I always save one for us Hawkeye fans out there. Post week 2, the Iowa Hawkeyes are the team to beat in the Big Ten West Division. Iowa did defeat Iowa State over the weekend during this year's edition of the annual Cy-Hawk Trophy rivalry game. So this hot take, I am going to buy it for now with a little bit of hesitancy. I'm not being a Homer Simpson. I look at things very objectively and subjectively. I do. But right now, I look at what Iowa is doing compared to the rest of the Big Ten West. The Iowa defense, once again, looks salty, as they always do. They've given up 13.5 points on average through 2 games this season. Doing good things again, as we've gotten used to and spoiled in Iowa City defensively. Special teams look excellent. And their offense, well, it is improved from last season. That may not be saying much, having overall the worst offense in all of the nation last year, even though they did finish second to last in worst offense, but still. So there has been a little bit of an improvement offensively from Iowa, but I look at the rest of the Big Ten West, like I said, and Iowa's schedule, which is very favorable throughout the rest of the season. Along with Iowa, there's only one other team in the Big Ten West that's currently 2-0, and that's Minnesota, who struggled. I mean, needed a 4th and 10 conversion for a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to defeat a bad Nebraska team during the opening week. I mean, everybody other than those 2 teams have 2 losses, or at least 1 loss, in the Big Ten West. So I think as of right now, through 2 weeks, Iowa does look like the best team. Wisconsin lost over the weekend at Washington State. Purdue lost opening week. Illinois lost Friday night over the weekend at KU, a very, very good under-the-radar Kansas team. So people just keep losing. Nebraska's 0-2. Northwestern did get a victory, and I'll talk more about that game here in a little bit, but they're really going to struggle. So Iowa looks like the team to beat as of right now in the West. That's my buy or sell segment for week 2. Let me know what you think about it. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Click that button, get notifications. Now my next segment, let's go ahead and move into it. It's one of my favorite segments I do here on the show. That's right. That song can only mean one thing. It's time for week 2's The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly. Let's go ahead and get into it right now. All right, so let's start off with the good from week 2. And I gotta give love and credit to not just 1, but 2 quarterbacks. I combine these guys for 1. I'm talking about quarterbacks Quinn Ewers of Texas and quarterback Tyler Van Dyke of Miami. These were 2 quarterbacks who both needed huge victories for themselves, but also for their programs moving forward. These 2 programs that they play for, Texas and Miami, are absolutely huge brands, maybe two of the biggest brands we have in college football, based on their past, the players that they've produced, how much money they make, how much say-so and political power they have in the college football landscape. But they both have been a little bit lost in the woods for quite a while. They needed these wins to get back into the national spotlight. They were out there doing walkabouts for a while, okay? And with their victories over the weekend against those SEC powers, they definitely got it, all right? So, like I said, they were on the outside looking in, but these were big victories for these quarterbacks and their programs. Just listen to the numbers. Quinn Ewers down and in Tuscaloosa against Alabama put up the following numbers. He threw for 349 passing yards. He added 15 yards on the ground using his legs to create. He threw for 3 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Excellent stat line against the number 3 team in the nation. And then Tyler Van Dyke, the Miami quarterback, against number 23, Texas A&M. Listen to this stat line, all right? Tyler Van Dyke threw for 374 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 to 0 interceptions in their victory over A&M, which I believe there was 48-33 was the final tally in that game. So that's the good from week 1, those two quarterbacks. And I'm definitely going to talk more about the Miami A&M game, but from an A&M perspective here shortly, so stick with me on that. Now, the bad from week 2 is I've got to put, this state on notice, all right? I'm talking about football, or I should say the state of football within the Commonwealth and the Old Dominion state of Virginia. I mean, what is going on in this state? I mean, this is a state, Virginia, that is a recruiting hotbed. They produce uber talent for football in the great state of Virginia. And for the better part of the last 3 seasons, I mean, the state is really underperforming at the Power 5 level. Currently through 2 weeks, this is what we got. UVA, the Virginia Cavaliers of the ACC, are 0-2. Virginia Tech, the Hokies. Now, this is not Beamer Ball of Virginia Tech of old. This is New Virginia Tech. Currently is 1-1, and their one victory came against fellow Virginia Division I team Old Dominion, but a lower conference team. Over the weekend, James Madison is the team that defeated Virginia. Now, James Madison is also within the state of Virginia. They're a Sun Belt conference team. This is only their second year at the FBS Division I level. They sit 2-0. Are they possibly the best team in the Old Dominion, the Commonwealth state? Possibly. So I don't know what's going on with UVA and Virginia Tech, but they just need to just start producing better on the field. There's going to be quick turnarounds for these recently hired coaches at those two programs. They've got to do better. And Old Dominion is also right now 1-1. So James Madison, best team in Virginia. So that's the bad from week 2. Now it's time for the ugly. And you know what? I'm sorry. Maybe I have a personal vendetta against him, but anytime that I can talk bad about Coach Jimbo, the fraud Fisher, I'm definitely taking that bait. All right? I just am. All right? They got absolutely embarrassed by Miami and quarterback Tyler Van Dyke, as I've already stated, down in Coral Gables, Florida. That defense gave up 48 points. Now, this is a defense littered with, 5-star there, 5-star there, 4-star there. It's like Oprah on defense for A&M. You get a 5-star. You get a 5-star. You're a 5-star. And they gave up 48 points. All right? And why Coach Fisher hired defensive coordinator DJ Durkin? That's right, us Big Ten fans know of him. I mean, a player died under his watch at Maryland. Granted, it was something more from a strength and conditioning perspective, but he's still the captain of that ship, and a young man perished while he was coach at Maryland, all right? So making that hire, first of all, Jimbo, what are you thinking, all right? And once again, how much money and control A&M gave this individual? Yes, he came in flashing his national title ring from Florida State, but the guy is a fraud. He manipulated and he basically, he really just lied to all of you. All right? Hook, line, and sinker, and you took it. You're paying this man $9 million a year, A&M, and what have you seen from your investment? Has he got you to a college football playoff? No. Has he won you a national title? That would be a no, since not making the playoffs. Has he even gotten you to the SEC title game? That's a no as well. Why are you paying this man that amount of money a year? He was the first domino, guys, that fell, which kind of then opened up coaches to these ridiculous contracts of $9, $10 million a year. It's pathetic. No coach should be making that much money per year, not even at the professional level, okay? I don't care, all right? But he fooled all of you. Now, A&M, you're going to have to lay in the bed that you made. I mean, this guy is a fraud. As soon as he's out of college football, the better for all of us. Sorry, let me just get my blood pressure down. If you're a Texas A&M fan, or if you know of an A&M fan, tell him to watch the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Watch this segment. I want to hear, please, I'm begging to hear some feedback from an A&M fan. All right? I just want to hear what your perspective is on Coach Jimbo Fisher, and I would love to even have an A&M fan try to stick up for him or state a case for why he should be there. I challenge you. I want to hear from you. Please get involved, all of you, by the way. You're all invited to talk about the fraud with me. That's fine. Comment, like, share, subscribe, get involved. So that's my ugly, my good, the bad, and the ugly from week 2. I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite segments each and every week. I love that segment. And that wraps up the good, the bad, and the ugly for this week. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to my next segment. This is my 3 cheers segment. And I love this segment because we all know what's going to grab the headlines. The big one this weekend, obviously, was Texas defeating Alabama. But there's lots of things that happen that just nobody really gives any sort of notice to or any props to or love. So that's why it's my responsibility to keep you in the know about these great accomplishments, big happenings that happened over week 2 that maybe you might have forgotten about or maybe are not even on your radar. All right? So let's go ahead and get to my first cheers of the week. I got to go to one of my former employers. That's SIU, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, of the FCS level, the powerful Missouri Valley Conference. That is the Bees Knees Conference of the FCS level for football. But over the weekend, the SIU Salukis made the trek north and defeated NIU, the Huskies, the Northern Illinois Huskies of the MAC Conference, 14-11 in DeKalb. Wow, what a big-time victory for SIU. And when you look at what's happening in the land of Lincoln, my native state of Illinois, that Illinois lost Friday at Lawrence against Kansas. NIU obviously lost to SIU. So could you say at least overall, but, right here and now for at least 1 week, the SIU Salukis are the best team in Illinois. So, for you, the SIU Fighting Salukis, much love and respect. I go ahead and give you my first. Much deserved there, too, for the Salukis. Now, my second cheer of week 2, I'm going to stay within the land of Lincoln. I'm going to go ahead and give a 3 cheer to the Northwestern Wildcats of the Big Ten. We all know what's been going on with them. And if you're not, you can Google it, get caught up to speed. But so much upheaval, issue right now within this program with the firing of longtime head coach Pat Fitzgerald due to hazing and bullying scheme and scandal going on. A team that is absolutely going to implode this season. All right, they're not going to taste victory much, but during week 2 they did exactly that. They absolutely pleased the home crowd. They scored a 38-7 win over UTEP in Evanston, Illinois. I believe that will be their only win this year over a fellow Division I team. But also in doing that, this is Northwestern's first victory on the North American continent since week 0 of last season. That's right, Northwestern went 1-11 last year. They opened up their season across the pond against Nebraska in Dublin, Ireland. So this is their first victory on American soil in 2 seasons. So congrats to Northwestern. And you could see on the field when the game was wrapped up, I mean, just those young men celebrating like it's 1999, getting down, partying because of everything they've been through. So to the Wildcats, I go ahead and give you my second 3 cheers. You deserve it. Take a bow. All right. Now my final 3 cheers for week 2, I got to give it up for the Hawaii Warriors on the islands over the weekend. They defeated Albany 31-20. Which that is their first victory of the year. They came in 0-2. They did play a contest in week 0. So not only their first W of the season, but after everything that the islands have been through, the people, the fans of the wildfires that devastated the islands last month, huge victory and motivation for them, giving the Islanders something to rally behind and celebrate. Continue to be Hawaii strong. So well done, Hawaii. You deserve my final 3 cheers for week 2. Much love and respect. Take it all in, Hawaii. You deserve it. All right. Thanks, guys. I love that segment. Now let's move on to my post-week 2 power rankings. Now I do update these each and every week following the results of the weekend's games. So this is what I got. I'm going to give you my top 10 plus 2, so my first 2 out, basically, as far as where I think these teams are. Please subscribe, comment, like, share, rate, get involved. I want to hear from you, college football fans. So let's go ahead and start off. My team 1, I've got to go with the Georgia Bulldogs, even though they've played nobody. I mean, yes, they've played 2 teams, but one of those was the UT Martin, what are they, the Skyhawks, I believe, from the FCS level. I mean, when you play a team like that, when you're the 2-time defending national champions, you actually will probably get more by just playing a inter-squad scrimmage on a Saturday afternoon in the fall. All right, so they've played nobody, but they're ranked number 1 in the polls, so I've got to keep them number 1 here from what they've accomplished. So I've got Georgia at 1. Number 2, I've got the Michigan Wolverines. Now, yes, this was my pick to win the national title. I get it. before you go ahead and cry out, Big Ten Homer, I still believe this team is the best, most complete team in the nation. J.J. McCarthy has looked like an absolute Heisman Trophy candidate. I mean, I think he has, more touchdown passes through 2 weeks than incompletions, but yet they really haven't played anybody. I get that. No stiff competition, but at least they've played 2 Division I opponents. I give them that. Number 3 is the Florida State Seminoles. I mean, one of the 2 biggest victories. A lot of people right now believe this is the best team in the nation, and I can't argue with that, but I just need to see them within the ACC conference, because like I said, who is going to challenge them? And I hope at least a couple teams will rise up to give them a little bit more ammunition if they need it come selecting the college football playoff field. So I've got Florida State at 3. Number 4, after that big-time victory over the weekend, I've got the Texas Longhorns at my number 4 this week after that victory in Tuscaloosa. Their defense, wow. They might have the best defense in the country. And Quinn Ewers, their quarterback, I already mentioned his stats, but just throws a beautiful long ball. I mean, drops it right in the breadbasket. I mean, just a beautiful thing watching him sling the rock. Number 5, I've got the USC Trojans. Have they played great competition? No, but they do have last year's Heisman Trophy winner, quarterback Caleb Williams, who right now is putting up, video game-like numbers offensively. I mean, this team's going to score lots of points. We know that. It's going to be like on a gaming console. But is their defense going to be able to strap it up and play physical enough to slow other teams down? We have yet to see that, but I got them number 5 right now. Number 6, I think maybe the team that is really looking good, and we'll find out more about them week 4 when they host my Hawkeyes during whiteout conditions in Beaver Stadium. I'm talking the Penn State Nittany Lions. I mean, the biggest question mark was quarterback Drew Aller. Is how good was he going to be? The former 5-star prospect, the overall number 1 quarterback recruit, making his first season starting, but he really looks to have the goods and then some. But, man, that was the biggest question mark. He himself was the biggest question that anybody had within the Big Ten Conference. And if he continues to play like he is and improve step by step, this is going to be a tough team to beat. This is an absolute college football playoff contender in Penn State. Number 7, I've got the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 7. Maybe they're starting to figure things out offensively. We know how good their wide receiver core is. Stud wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think will be one of the 4 Heisman Trophy finalists. Actually, I picked him to win the Heisman Trophy this season. But they still need to iron out their quarterback issues. So they continue to kind of slowly drop. But we'll see what happens come Big Ten Conference play. Number 8, I've got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is a dangerous team, guys. I am completely on the Sam Hartman bandwagon. The guy's got a perfect beard. The 5th-year quarterback transfer from Wake Forest. He's in there slinging it around all over the yard for Notre Dame. They've got a strong running back, strong offensive line. You know they're going to put stud tight ends on the field as well. I really like this Notre Dame team, guys, at number 8. Number 9, I've got Roll Tide Alabama after their loss at home over the weekend. They have big-time quarterback issues down there in Tuscaloosa. What is the GOAT, Nick Saban, going to do? How is he going to kind of recalculate and refocus? What adjustments is he going to make? Because their quarterback room, they got to get it figured out. Uber talented, as Alabama's always going to be, but right now I have them just inside my top 10. Number 10, I've got the Washington Huskies, quarterback Michael Penix, one of my 4 Heisman Trophy finalists. I mean, stud team, going to put up lots of offensive points. Can't wait to see them more in Pac-12 conference play. I have them winning the Pac-12 and getting to the college football playoff, by the way. Now, the first of my two teams out, number 11, is Oregon. Big-time road victory over the weekend against Texas Tech down in Lubbock. I love Oregon there at number 11. Number 12, LSU, the Tigers. Even though they did lose opening week to Florida State, I still think they're a dangerous team, led by one of my 4 Heisman Trophy finalists, quarterback Jaden Daniels. I think they will be better come SEC play, and I still like them to win the SEC West. I still think they're the team to beat, but only time will tell. So that's my power rankings, guys. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Do you think I have certain teams too high, certain teams too low? Should I maybe include this team? Please, I'm begging and asking and welcoming your feedback. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Now, guys, we're going to get to my final segment very quick. Is Week 2's Mr. Insignificant. This is a player that, once again, you probably have never heard anything about. You probably never will unless he plays for your team. But without his efforts, they do not pull out a victory or get the victory, I should say. This week, Mr. Insignificant goes to UCF place kicker Colton Boomer. And what a name for a field goal kicker. Colton Boomer. Colton via the phone book, if phone books even still exist out there. But Colton Boomer was 4 for 4 kicking field goals for UCF. They were able to get a victory on the road over Boise State on the Smurf turf. The final score was 18-16. But not only was Colton 4 for 4, that includes ultimately the game-winning 55-yard field goal as time expired, giving the Golden Knights that 18-16 victory. So for you, Boomer Colton, you are this week's Mr. Insignificant. Go ahead, take a bow. Little standing ovation there for you, Boomer. You deserve it. Great job. We're proud of you. And will probably never be mentioned ever again. All right, guys, but that's my episode for today, my Week 2 review show. Please get involved. I want to hear from you. Subscribe. Thank you for everything that you've done for the channel and will continue to do. Let's get the word out there and find more college football fans just like you. Look for me later this week. Probably will be out late afternoon Thursday, early evening Thursday will be my Week 3 preview and picks episode. So I'll be kind of breaking down the big matchups coming up this week in Week 3 in college football. So until then, guys, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. Peace. Prosperity. I'm history. Study me. And thank you for joining me on this episode of the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog. See you later. Bye-bye.